Okay, I'm sorry. My laundry ended there, right in the middle of the rant. So I'm trying to just think about what I wanted to say next. Um, I just like, how can people want to live in a place built upon horrific things? How can we be proud to be descended from fucking monsters? And look, I'm not here to say that the rest of the world is perfect or anything. I'm very well aware, there's been so many horrible things that have happened in human history. That's not what I'm trying to say, though. Part of this, what I'm trying to say, is that, I also don't want to think of myself as an American, because this sort of pride that I feel like is extremely excessive, very boastful, and very arrogant. Right? That we just go about in the world just acting as if we're the only important people, or that this is the center of the earth or the world or the universe. Oh no, we're fucking not. There is none. We're all equally important. We're all in this together. If you really claim to be for all people, equality, then you would value us just as much as any fucking one else. You would value the lives of people who live in other countries, and do your best to respect those cultures. You do your best to listen to what those people want and say. And it doesn't mean you have to agree with it. Just because you don't have to like everything everyone else does. That's perfectly fine. You can have your own opinions. But just don't go marching about the world acting as if you own the place. It's very disrespectful. Especially, don't even also get me started on the fucking fact that this country was even started upon by European invaders. I'm not going to say colonists, right? Because colony, I think, implies that this whole land was just empty, waiting to be taken. No, there were fucking thousands of millions of people who lived here. Native Americans who were murdered, slaughtered mercilessly at a moment's notice. If anyone's the savages, it's not the Native Americans, it's the Europeans. Now, I'm not talking about modern day Europeans, I'm talking about the ones of the past here. Right? And I'm not saying that necessarily all of them are bad or anything. I didn't live in those times, I don't know. But if I can describe, who committed these atrocities, it's mostly, Europeans, the invaders, right? Just start with facts like that. Our nation was first made by invaders. And this pattern has perpetuated itself throughout our country's history. Right? We've had imperial tendencies. We've taken advantage of workers in other countries who don't have good labor conditions and exploited them to make more money because it's cheaper than having workers here. We've, blockaded lots of lands who, needed many resources, who had natural trade patterns with other cultures, other countries, especially for, important resources like food, clothing, other basic necessities, and back to the Native Americans thing. Ever heard of the Trail of Tears? Pretty big historical event. Not really many Americans actually talk about shit like that. We like to point the fingers and say, oh, the Nazis, or oh, the Germans, or oh, the Russians, or the Chinese, or the Koreans. Okay, sure, I can understand, Well, we can talk about those things too. But I'm not saying those things because I'm not a Russian, I'm not German, I'm not Chinese or Japanese, I'm not, whatever other. I was born here. This is the country I've known. This is the place that I've lived my whole fucking life in so far. And there's just the question of, am I still gonna live here? Right? I sure as hell am probably gonna visit some people who live here, regardless or not if I do. Because certain friends or family members who live further away, absolutely. But it's just like, I don't understand. I mean, I do, but I don't. I guess it's sort of a rhetorical point. I get that many people are proud or proud to call themselves American, right? Because we claim to be democratic, we claim to be free, we claim to have some of the best things in the world. Yes, and I won't lie. We've had many great people who were born here, many awesome inventions. Many great scientists and singers, and artists and actors and actresses. We've had some great leadership in the past. Sometimes, we've accomplished some really big things. Many people, many programs are set up here to help, even not just people who live here, but also to send money to other places in the world. And it's nice to be reminded about these things, right? And I honestly, on one level, I really want to be wrong in saying that America is, and honestly, in a lot of ways, a very bad country, a very bad place, a very bad thing. I want to be wrong. I like being shown evidence to the contrary. I do not take pleasure in the fact that, all these sort of things I've even mentioned. Try not to go over all the stuff again, but I might. No promises. And it's just like, I don't have, and also just like, especially also as I've gotten older, right? I didn't find that, there's even more sort of weird societal norms, expressions, expectations that we face. And, it's just like, I don't want to deal with that. I'm done. I'm over this. And it doesn't even fucking help the fact that, we literally elected a goddamn fascist into power. By the popular vote. He won the popular vote. And just the fact that, look, I'm going to apologize for one thing real quick, and maybe a few other things too. And I want to say that I am, whether I've said this in either stuff like this, in person or in videos before, I'm seriously gonna apologize. And I want to say that I am sorry for calling many people, those who voted for Trump, Republicans in general, right-wingers, pick your term, as I've said, and calling them blank expletive word. I'm sorry. It, is really, it's not really a good thing at all. It's for me to do that. I understand that I'm angry. I understand that I'm frustrated and I'm confused. And I want things to be better. I care about some people. But I want to apologize for the way that sometimes I don't consider other people's experiences, that I let empathy just go right on by and I don't care. And and sometimes I even feel like committing whatever acts. I say those. But I'm not, because that's not the type of person that I am. It's not the type of person that I want to be. And it's just, I know I don't want to make excuses, right? Because that just shows immaturity. That shows inconsideration. It's rude. It's, yeah, just generally not a nice thing to do. So I will say I am sorry. I am truly sorry for the things that I've said. I should have considered, and I should consider the way that my words impact people. That what I say can and does affect people, and that I don't have to just say, well, fuck you and your opinions, go screw yourself. As I feel very compelled to do very often. Right? And it's perfectly fine to, and it's perfectly normal to feel that way. But especially that if I want to call myself a Christian, or if I want to call myself whatever term, doesn't even matter. You know, say that I have certain ideas or whatever. I need to make sure that I'm genuinely holding myself to those and trying to be honestly a genuine person. No, well, not just genuine. I don't think that's necessarily a problem. I don't think it's the problem at all. I think it's about maintaining my ideas of respect and kindness, even when I really, really don't want to. Even though it feels really hard to. And I've gotten much better about that, I think. I think I have. Maybe I'm wrong. But that is on me. And I am truly sorry for those things that I've said. And I want to, and I will do better. I will do my best, not just try. I will do better to make sure that I consider the people that I'm around, the situations that I'm in, the way that I say things, and the words that I choose to use. Because these matter. Because no matter who I'm talking to, what subject I'm talking about, at the end of the day, we're all humans, and we all have, feelings. We all have feelings that, at a moment's notice, can be very easily hurt. And I've gotten better about that, but sometimes I still don't do the best, and I should do better, and I will do better. But, so, just anyone who watched any of that sort of stuff, if I said anything like that, I'm deeply sorry. But I don't know. I think for myself, it's just also kind of like a matter of perspective, and of the whole thing of why I don't feel particularly proud to call myself American, or I don't want to live here, or whatever. It's also just because of, like, I don't know. A little bit of this too, at least. Sometimes it's much stronger than others. But I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the whole "the grass is greener" thing. Right? Well, there's also the aspect of you also value what you don't have more than what you do. I think that literally goes right alongside of that. Pretty much, I feel like a very similar, if not the same type of thing, just said in a different way. And I think, I'm also just a curious person. I want to see more of the world. But I'm also afraid of missing out on things. I'm also afraid of not seeing more what's out there in the actual world. Not getting to encounter with different people from different places. It honestly is a little scary to me to imagine living my whole life in just one place. Because you don't get exposed to other things. You don't learn things. There's so many cool or amazing opportunities. And I don't, and it doesn't feel very nice to me when people are like, oh yeah, we'll just go take a trip to another state or something. Or people say like, oh, each state is its own country. Pretty much what it feels like. Okay. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're wrong. But regardless, and while I will admit that yes, there's a lot of other cultural things, historical monuments, whatnot, just cool landmarks, that all of them those exist here in the United States, and they're super cool. To me, I don't know. It's also just like, why would I do that when everyone else does? Why would I want to do the same thing? Why would I want to conform to these sort of demands or just norms? I don't know. Now I'm probably, maybe I'm going a little off the rails here. You already did. Far off from the train track. But just, I just, it's just a hard thing for me because, I feel like on this other level, and I feel like maybe at this point, honestly, my thoughts are just kind of going all over the place. I don't know how well this might seem related to any of the other stuff, but yes, I do still have moments where I feel proud to have been born here, or I feel proud of certain things that cultural things we've had, or technologies that we've made, or foods that we enjoy, or music that was created here, right? All sorts of culture things, right? And I can take some pride in that. But I guess to myself, it's just like, I feel like I've kind of, conditioned myself a little bit to feel ashamed